hair. So I've been moisturizing my hair. I hadn't done like kind of in, what is it, LCO method, because I did water, then a moisturizer, then what did I say? LCB, I guess it would be, because I used the shea butter blend that I made. But I actually wanted to wet my hair, so I did that. I didn't wash it, I just wet it after doing that. So I'm going to reapply now. And this is the shea butter blend that I was talking about that I made in a short, if you saw my recent short. But it's a nice creamy consistency. You still do have to melt it in some. This is how it kind of looks. Yeah, you can see the shine. If you can catch that. Not the best angle, but yeah, there you go. You still have to melt it some, but not as much as you would have the original consistency of the shea butter. Because I can show you the original after I get this off of my hands. But this, I have been using it on my scalp. For one, because it's a more natural thing, and I was watching some videos and some people had me wanting to go get the grease. But I was like, kind of thinking about it, I'm like, I can kind of think of this as my grease alternative. Because petroleum, from what I've heard and read, can have some very harmful chemicals in it, and it's in most grease products. So even though hair grease has a nice effect on the hair, I don't like the idea of putting chemicals in my body. Somebody said it comes from like smokestacks and it's like a byproduct. I saw something not too long ago, I think it was saying that it could have carcinogens, but then somebody else was refuting that, saying that, well, they wouldn't let like basically a beauty product or whatever have carcinogens in it. And so it's like, I mean, yeah, let's just, not to say I will never ever in my life use grease, but why not use a healthier alternative? Know what I put in it. I'll show you the original shea butter that I made that mix from. So I got this one on Amazon, and this is what it comes like, plain shea butter, pretty raw, takes more work to melt. Not a whole lot, but what I've noticed is if maybe I'm just got done washing my hands or washing my hair and my hands don't have enough body heat or something, then it takes more work to melt it because it melts based on your body heat. And so when you whip it, which I didn't whip it with a blender, I just took a fork to it, added some oils to it. If you whip your shea butter, then you can have it be even more creamy, like a whipped butter, like table butter consistency kind of, or like a frosting consistency. And I added to this several different oils. Should I tell you what they are? Some of them, I'll tell you some of them. I'm gonna start on my edges while I talk. Don't forget your edges. And I used to talk about not putting butters on your scalp, but my scalp, I've skipped putting stuff directly on my scalp for a while, and I do notice that sometimes my scalp gets itchy. So, I mean, it still might be more likely to clog faster than if you just put like straight up liquidy, like liquid at room temperature oils on. But I feel better about putting this on than about putting on grease from the store. So what I put in here was some cinnamon essential oil, some olive oil. I have this basil infused oil mix. What I really wanted to get when I bought the basil was I was wanting to get rosemary, but that wasn't working out for me at the time. So I got a basil infused oil, which actually I would prefer it be made with olive oil sometimes, at least for eating. But it's made with sunflower oil, but it's okay. So I put some of that in there. And I actually put some cinnamon, the spice, in as well, and some cayenne pepper. So it does have a burn that you can experience sometimes. And one reason I want that is because I want to stimulate blood flow to my scalp so that it can assist in stimulating hair growth. So I'm going to put this, coat my hair with it. Just warm it up in your hands and make sure you get your ends. So you might want to start with your ends just so you remember to coat them well. And kind of roll them a little bit between your hands. And another thing that I noticed that I hadn't always been doing is I hadn't always been going in between. Like I might section my hair and kind of get the outsides of that section. But then what about the middle parts of my hair? Like the middle parts of that section, if you're only getting the outside, are probably not being coated as much as they can. Now they'll get some contact if you're twisting your hair after that because you're moving your hair different strands in different directions. But if you really want to focus, take the time and focus on those strands that are in between. That would also be a good thing for you to do. Just kind of part the hair in a way that you don't normally part it in order to get to some of those strands that you don't normally get to. Don't forget, your edges are not just the edges up here that people focus on a lot, but don't forget to get your side edges and your back edges. You want to get all of your hair and coat it nicely. And another thing I've noticed lately, and maybe it's just the products that I've been using, is that my hair, it seems like it's having more of an issue like absorbing the water as quickly lately, but maybe it's because partially because of different products I've been using lately. But if you notice that your hair is doing that and it hasn't had a problem with absorbing water in the past, you might want to consider how long it's been between washes, like a good full out shampoo it like squeaky clean kind of wash, not just a co-wash, because if your hair isn't absorbing, it might be because it's got too much buildup. And also when your hair is like super dry and you keep putting a bunch of stuff on it, it's like, why is my hair still dry? I just literally moisturized it yesterday or whatever, and it still seems like it's being super dry. I'm gonna get my scalp some now. You might need a good wash. That might be why it's being dry and not making sense that you just moisturized it and it's still dry. All right. So get your hair and your scalp, and especially when you have oils in your products, like the ones I mentioned that I put in here, that can actually get some blood flow going to your scalp. You want to make sure, if it's natural, that you're getting it on your scalp. If it's not natural, probably don't want it on your scalp because our skin is an organ and absorbs things too. So I'm just gonna keep moisturizing my scalp. And I don't have a hooded dryer where I am, but I do have access to a sauna. And so what I'm planning to do is, while my hair is still wet, not waiting for it to dry, is to go sit in there and let the shea butter and everything and the different oils really get absorbed into my hair like a deep conditioning treatment. All right. So once you get done with that, you want to kind of keep your hair stretched too while you work with it, because keeping it stretched, my hair has the ability to really get in there and shrink. But keeping it stretched will help you to have a cleaner style if you're doing like a flat twist. It also can help you avoid some tangles. So just get in there with your fingers to your scalp and move that oil or butter around. And also, this is a nice way to encourage blood flow to the scalp, is to go ahead and massage it. And also, in my crown, if you've seen some of my videos in the past, I've experienced some breakage there before. So now I like to give it extra attention, both the scalp and the hair. Make sure those hairs are moisturized there. All right, and I don't always use a brush, but I have a boar bristle brush because I want to smooth it down now. So I'm gonna do that. And it gives me a smoother look and helps to give it, like, it helps to, it looks more, if I can speak English, I'll tell you what I'm trying to say. It helps it look more shiny and it can give me a better defined hairstyle. Now the bristles in this brush, they're not extremely soft and they're not extremely hard. They're like somewhere in the middle. So it's a nice consistency rather than being like too soft or too tough on your hair strands. You also might want to get your ends too, just to try to brush off any dead ends that might come off with that. And also encourage the product into your hair more. All right. Just gonna smooth that out some more with my brush and my hands. And then flat twist it. All right, so here's some stretching. Stretch your hair a bit before you go in for the flat twist. This is stretching and it's further compressing and smoothing kind of all at the same time. All right, and now I'm going in for that flat twist. So loosen up the hair. And try to be gentle. Try to be patient. And don't forget those the little hairs that need to get tucked away too. I'm trying to get those ends tucked in, because if I don't get them tucked in, they'll start popping out the sides, which it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's nice when you want a smooth style to get a smooth style. I still have a little bit up here that's not completely down, but that's okay. I'm sweating. I'm grateful that I'm not, well, I can be if I want to, but I'm grateful that I got over being like a hair perfectionist and got over, because it just, natural hair, it's a different kind of blessing. And it, it doesn't always, want to be in a perfectly defined, perfectly set way, but it has its own beauty. And I'm also grateful that I'm learning to appreciate it, to appreciate the beauty. And I still have sometimes natural hair. I still have, well, I guess it could be any kind of hair because people have bad hair days anyway. But I still have some hair meltdown days, which I was thinking about making a video about that. Um, but sometimes you just need a good reset. Maybe your hair is not moisturized enough. Maybe it needs a new wash, like I was talking about earlier, and it's not really doing what you want it to do because it's got too much product buildup. Maybe that's what's going on. So whatever the case, just be patient with your hair and be grateful for it. And get rid of the negative words and thoughts that people, because sometimes people, maybe growing up you heard things, maybe along the way at work you heard things, whatever it is. Ladies, get rid of those negative thoughts about what people might have said about your hair type or your hair texture or whatever, and learn to appreciate the beauty that God gave you, you know. And again, don't forget to get your side edges and your back edges. And don't forget your ends. And repeat the process. Don't forget your ends. Just get all of it, all of it. I was watching this one video and they were saying take care of the mid strand, the mid shaft of the hair, the middle strands, because that's the next ends. Like if you get your hair trimmed or cut, the middle is what becomes the ends next, unless you are retaining all of that. But you want to get all of your hair if you can. And I know sometimes we might not have the time or the energy, but when you can, try at least, 1 or 2 good times a week to focus on the different parts of your hair, not just the parts that we think about because they've been given more attention because we used to neglect them, like the edges or the ends. We don't want to get the edges and the ends and not get the middle now. So go ahead and moisturize that end. Really nicely. Try to keep from having dry hair when you can. I've been guilty of it, but moisturized hair, it even looks visibly healthier. It's better for length retention because it doesn't break as easily a lot of times. And when you look at your hair, you just be like, yeah, it's healthy, and gives you a better appreciation for it. Yeah, it's also rewarding to use natural products because, you know that you're doing something good for your body, at least better than what you might be buying out of mass production in the stores. It's something that you made with your own hands, if you've homemade it or if you bought it from someone else who's trustworthy and uses good products, that, you're getting something that maybe was made in a small business or made with someone else's hands who hopefully actually cares, about what they're doing and what they're putting in as far as it being a natural, healthy product. Okay, so again, on this side, I'm gonna stretch it. So you kind of have to get in there if you get a lot of shrinkage like I do. Get in there and re-stretch your hair out again. And I'm smoothing and kind of compressing the product. Don't forget that crown area. Give it a little extra attention if you get any, if you've had breakage there. Just smooth it. And here I also like to take out shed hairs, because if you can avoid reintroducing that into your next hairstyle, then you might be able to avoid it tangling around other hairs and causing breakage. So try to get those shed hairs out. Try not to leave them in. Yeah. All right. And then go ahead and, if you choose, you can skip this step. But like I said, I'm trying to get, even though it's not my smoothest style ever, I do want to smooth it some. So the Shea, this Shea Butter blend, you can see the shine that it gives. Gives your hair some gloss. And then you don't have to go put in the silicones on your hair and stuff like that, trying to get a shine on your roots. And I find that with my hair too, on my hair texture, it likes thicker oil, so like castor oil, shea butter, things like that. It responds well to. It does not like being dry. Brush those ends. If there are any like dead ends, split ends that will come out, or also encouraging that product into your ends again. And then after that, go ahead and do your flat twist. And if you want to encourage some moisture in more, if you have like a gem that has, maybe they have a sauna in it, if you don't have a hooded dryer at home, or if you have a hooded dryer at home, you can use that. If you don't have that, if you have one of those caps that you can plug in, you can put a plastic bag on to kind of keep that moisture in and use that. Just some form of heat that's not too abrasive for your hair, that can encourage your cuticles to lift and encourage moisture into the hair strands, if you choose to do that. If you feel like, I want to, take this another level, or you can stop here. If you feel like your hair's got enough moisture, you can stop here. But I'm like, why not? Why not take it a step further? It's not something I always do. It's something I definitely need to do more, though, because that is something I've noticed around a lot of people in the natural hair community who have long hair, is that they will do hot oil treatment. And that's definitely something that I have not consistently done. Or deep conditioning. It's another thing. But yeah, also, they're the natural things that our bodies need, like sleep and rest, even, just not being stressed out all the time, which has been hard for me lately. But when I decide to let God handle it, He takes care of me. It's me who keeps picking things up. But yeah, we learn. Excuse the sweaty face. And also what I like to do is go ahead and use what's on my hands on my eyebrows. This, like I said, this has got some kick to it because of the cinnamon in it. And I normally put stuff on my face, but this might burn your face a little bit. So if you don't want your face to be warming up, Then you might want to make a separate shea butter, skip the cinnamon step, skip the hair growth oils steps, unless you're making it for a brother or a friend or a husband with a beard, and then they're trying to stimulate hair growth on their beard. Otherwise, if you're making one for your face, you might want to consider what oils you're putting in. Maybe stick with like olive oil or just a shea butter or avocado oil, something like that. All right. Hope you enjoyed this video. Now it's time to go sit in the heat and take it a step further. So it was pretty simple. I just rinsed it. I didn't even wash it because I just really wanted to wet it and saturate it and detangle it in the shower. So I did a little bit of finger detangling and also used a wide tooth comb to detangle. And then you saw what I just did as far as putting this on. Don't forget your edges. Don't forget your parts too. Like if there are parts that there's something pulling back here. If there are parts, be mindful of things pulling your hair or sections of your hair that might be under too much tension. You don't want to cause pain. So I finished my sentence. If you have parts that are commonly exposed, don't forget to give those a little attention with the moisture. Get the strands in between the sections that you might normally just kind of overlook because they're inside of the section. Get your ends, your mids, and your roots. So everything, moisturize it all. And if your crown needs a little more attention, or any other area that you notice maybe there's been breakage in the past, then maybe give it a little extra love, like additional moisture in that area, maybe additional massaging, and also being mindful if you are doing some kind of hairstyle that's too tight or something that might be contributing to breakage. Sometimes it's hard to pinpoint because I'm like, I'm not doing tight ponytails up there. I mean, I'll do a style like this. But for me, maybe it's a texture or moisture problem where, that part of my hair, maybe it needs more moisture. So I'm in a place of just trying to pay more attention to that area because it has had breakage in the past. And so I'll put more moisture on it sometimes. So sometimes this thing is trial and error, and it's just like, what is the issue? If it's not one thing, maybe it's another. And it's, trial and error, trying to figure out what it is that's causing you to have that issue. So just try it for a while and see if it gets better. All right, I hope this was helpful. Pulling some hair out of my brush. Hopefully you can, women, moisturize your hair, moisturize your daughter's hair with more natural things like this. Also, continuous spray bottle is a game changer. If you don't have one, I can show you mine. I got like 2 of these for like $10. They are beautiful because I can show you that too. They don't just spray one time. You have to pump it up a little bit, but then they like give you so much more moisture. And I don't mind coating my hair again with water because I'm planning to go warm all this up and get it all soaked in nicely. But yeah, continuous spray bottles are game changers when it comes to the amount of moisture our hair needs as naturals and not hurting your hands all the time. Doing a bunch of work for a little return with a regular spray bottle. All right, so hopefully you like this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you have nice things to say or tips or things that helped you, it'd be good to hear those things. And join me in the next video and check out my shorts too. If you just got in here, my hair is not gray. Water.